Okay, good morning, dear students. How are you all? Hope you all are fine. Here I am also quite fine. In the last class, we discussed about coal. So how coal is formed and the various stages in the formation of coal. I hope you read it and you learnt it well. So you go through the lessons, and if you have any doubt, you can call me and ask me anytime. Okay? So today we shall continue with the remaining part of coal. So I told you in the last class, coal contain many volatile compounds. Is it not? The volatile compounds are present inside the coal, and all these compounds are very, very useful. Now let us see how can we get this volatile compounds from coal. If you simply burn coal, you won't get this volatile compounds. So we have to do some kind of processing to get this volatile compounds from coal. So let us see how we can extract this volatile compounds from coal. So that is where you must know about destructive distillation. So what is destructive distillation? Destructive distillation of coal. So the process of heating coal in the absence of air at very high temperature is actually called destructive distillation of coal. So only when you heat coal in the absence of air, you will get this volatile compounds. If you heat coal in the presence of air, it just burns off. You won't get all these volatile compounds. So we have to process coal by a process called destructive distillation. So what exactly is destructive distillation? Process in which coal is heated at high temperature up to 1000 degrees Celsius in the absence of air. So that is actually called destructive distillation of air. So out of contact of air or in the absence of air, that is very important here. Okay, so once again I will tell you, destructive distillation of coal means it is a process in which coal is heated at very high temperature, that is up to 1000 degrees Celsius in the absence of air. Please note, it is in the absence of air. If you heat it in the presence of air, it just burns off and gives out carbon dioxide gas. So it has to be heated at high temperature in the absence of air. Only then you will get the volatile compounds which is present inside this coal. Okay, and this process is called destructive distillation of coal. Now why is it called destructive? Destructive distillation. Why this word destructive? It is because the chemical composition of the final product which you are getting is completely different from that of the starting material. So that is why you call this as destructive distillation. So the compounds which you are getting from coal is totally having different chemical composition, and they behave totally different from the starting substance, that is coal. That is why you call it as destructive distillation of coal. Right? When heated in air, coal burns and produce carbon dioxide gas. Okay, so first I will show you a video on this destructive distillation of coal, and after that I shall talk about that. Okay, so first watch it.
Destructive distillation of coal. The combustion of fuel in the absence of air is called destructive distillation of fuel. Objective: to understand destructive distillation of coal. Arrange the apparatus as shown. The horizontal glass tube contains some crushed pieces of coal, while the vertical glass tube is filled with some amount of water. Heat coal over a burner. On strong heating, it produces colorless vapors which enter water filled in the other tube. After some time, few of these vapors condense to form black viscous layer below the water level. This is called coal tar, while some other vapors get dissolved in water to form a colorless layer above the coal tar layer. This colorless layer is called ammonical liquor, as it mostly contains dissolved ammonia. Lastly, the unreacted vapors are released through the outlet of this tube, called coal gas, which is combustible. The material left behind in the horizontal tube is called coke. It is used in the manufacture of hydrogen gas. Coal gas. Coal gas is mainly a mixture of methane along with hydrogen, carbon monoxide, and other gaseous hydrocarbons, and is used as an industrial fuel. Ammonical liquor is mainly used to manufacture fertilizers. Coal tar is mainly used in the manufacture of dyes, insecticides, medicines, artificial yarn, etc. Summary: destructive distillation of coal produces coke, coal tar, ammonical liquor, and coal gas.
Okay, so I hope you understood what you saw. So heating of coal at very high temperature in the absence of air is known as destructive distillation. So when you heat coal, it converts into vapors, and this vapors, when it is cooled, when it is passed through water, it condenses, and various products like coal tar, ammoniacal liquor or liquid ammonia, then coal gas and coke, all these four products are obtained from coal, and each of these products are very useful, very useful substances they are. Now let us see how we process and what are the products that we get on heating coal in the absence of air. Okay, so processing of coal. Coal contains volatile compounds of carbon which are used in industry. By destructive distillation, these compounds are recovered. The useful compounds obtained by the destructive distillation of coal are coke, coal tar, coal gas, and liquid ammonia. So what are the products which are obtained from coal? It is coke, coal tar, coal gas, and liquid ammonia. So now let us see the uses of each of these products which we are getting by the destructive distillation of coal. First of all, let us see what is coke. Okay, so coke, as you see in this picture, it is a black substance. It is very tough and porous. Okay, so it is a tough, porous and black substance, and it is a pure form of carbon. It mainly contains carbon, so it is used as a fuel. Coke mainly contains carbon, so it is mainly used as a fuel. Another important use of coke is that it is used in the extraction of many metals like iron, tin, zinc, in the extraction of metals from their ores. Now what are ores? Ores are actually minerals which are taken from the earth's crust. So when this ores is taken, it consists of the metal with some impurities. It will be present in the form of their oxides. So this metal has to be extracted from their oxides, and for that the ore is heated with coke. So that is one of the important use of coke. So we say that coke is used as a reducing agent in the extraction of many metals, right? The next use is it is also used in the manufacture of steel. So these are the uses of coke. So coke is a very useful substance. In the video you saw the final product which is seen in that test tube after after liberating all the other things like coal tar, coal gas and ammoniacal liquor. What is left behind in that test tube as a residue is actually coke. It is mainly carbon, so it is used as a fuel, and very important use of coke is that it is used as a reducing agent in the extraction of many metals. Next one is coal tar. So what is this coal tar? As you see in this picture, you can see it is a very thick liquid. It is a black thick liquid with an unpleasant smell. So this coal tar is actually used for tarring roads in the earlier days, but nowadays we don't use this coal tar because we have a better product called bitumen, which is obtained from petroleum. So nowadays we use that, but earlier coal tar was used for tarring or surfacing the roads, metalling the roads. That is one of the use of this coal tar. Then it is a mixture of many hydrocarbons. It consists of so many hydrocarbons. Now what are hydrocarbons? Hydrocarbons are compounds containing hydrogen and carbon. So this coal tar contains many hydrocarbons like phenol, benzene, naphthalene, etc. Okay, and each of these are used in for various purposes. For example, naphthalene. You all are very familiar with naphthalene balls, is it not? We put this naphthalene balls in the cupboards, shelves, etc. to protect from insects. So this naphthalene balls is obtained from this coal tar. Then benzene, that is also another hydrocarbon which is used in the preparation of many insecticides, pesticides, etc. So such kind of hydrocarbons are obtained from this coal tar on fractional distillation. Okay, so what is this fractional distillation? We'll be talking about fractional distillation. I'll be talking about fractional distillation in detail when we see the refining of petroleum. But now just I'll tell you the definition for fractional distillation. That is, fractional distillation means you have to heat this coal tar at very high temperature. So when you heat coal tar at very high temperature, what will happen? The coal tar will get converted into its vapors, and these vapors consist of hydrocarbons with different boiling points, and they can be separated according to their boiling point. The vapor, which is the hydrocarbon which is present in this vapor and which is having a high boiling point, will be separated first. Then comes the second one, then third one, like that. Depending upon their boiling points, various hydrocarbons can be separated from coal tar by the process of fractional distillation. So now don't worry about fractional distillation. I'll be telling you about fractional distillation in the next class when we talk about, when we learn about refining of petroleum. Okay, so now just understand that on fractional distillation, it means coal tar gives many important carbon compounds such as naphthalene, benzene, etc. Then it is used as a starting material for manufacturing various substances like dyes, drugs, medicines can be obtained from this coal tar. Coal tar acts as a starting substance from which we can get medicines, explosives, in making bombs, etc. We use this coal tar. Then perfumes, plastics, paints, etc. So you see, the number of things can be obtained from this coal tar, and it is such a useful substance. So all these are obtained by the destructive distillation of coal. Then finally, bitumen, a petroleum product, is used in the place of coal tar for metalling the roads. I already told you that. So this is about coal tar. Now we'll move on to what is fractional distillation. Just a definition I have given here. Fractional distillation is a process by which components in a chemical mixture are separated depending on their boiling points. Now the third product is coal gas. So coal gas is a fuel. It is an industrial fuel, and it is obtained during the processing of coal to get coke. Okay, it is mainly an industrial fuel, and it is located, it is used as an industrial fuel in places where there is coal processing unit. and it was used for street lighting in London in 1810. So these are the uses of coal gas. Mainly coal gas is used as a fuel, industrial fuel, right? Then finally liquid ammonia. Now what is this liquid ammonia? You saw in that video that above this coal tar, when the vapors coming from coal condenses, above the coal tar you are getting this liquid ammonia. Liquid ammonia is actually, it is converted to ammonium sulfate and it is used as a artificial fertilizer. Nowadays we don't use this artificial fertilizer. Nowadays we stick on to this organic fertilizers, is it not? Because artificial fertilizers are very dangerous. But still liquid ammonia, which is obtained from coal tar, is used for making artificial fertilizers. So these are the various products, 4 products which are obtained from coal by the destructive distillation of coal. So what are the products? First one is coke, second is coal tar, third is coal gas, and the fourth one is liquid ammonia. So so far we were discussing about coal, is it not? Now coal is over. Now we'll move on to petroleum. So we'll start petroleum today. So what did we so far discuss about coal? Just sum up from the beginning. A quick sum up, okay, or quick recap. That is, coal is a natural resource. In the last class I already told you that coal is a natural resource. It is an exhaustible natural resource. It is a fossil fuel. It is obtained from the dead remains of plants and animals millions of years ago, and after that we saw the uses of coal. Then we saw how coal is formed and the various stages in the formation of coal. And today we saw destructive distillation of coal and the various useful volatile compounds which are obtained from coal. So next we shall move on to petroleum. Okay, so petroleum is also a fossil fuel. Just like coal, petroleum is also a fossil fuel. So fossil fuel, I told you, it is obtained from the dead remains of plants and animals millions of years ago, which was settled deep under the earth. So petroleum is also an exhaustible natural resource. Exhaustible means it is limited in quantity. Once it is getting over, then it will take another millions of years for its formation. So we have to be very careful in using all these fossil fuels. That is why we say that fossil fuels are exhaustible in nature. So petroleum is also a fossil fuel just like coal. Now it is a dark colored, foul smelling liquid, and it's also called as crude oil. You can see in this picture, crude oil, what we get from the earth's crust is actually like this. It is crude oil actually. Okay, and it is a thick liquid. It is a dark colored, foul smelling liquid, what we get initially. Then it is obtained, the name petroleum is taken, it is actually Latin. It has a Latin origin, that is petra means rock and oleum means oil. So the oil which is trapped in between the rocks, that is the meaning. Okay, petroleum. Petra means rock and oleum means oil. So that means petroleum is the oil which is trapped in between the impervious rocks. Now what are impervious rocks? Impervious rocks are non-porous rocks. There are no holes or there are no pores. So the oil, crude oil, cannot come out or it cannot ooze out of this impervious rocks. It will get trapped in between the impervious rocks. So that is why you say crude oil is found trapped between the two between layers of impervious rocks. Now what does this crude oil contain? It has solid, liquid and gaseous hydrocarbons. So gaseous hydrocarbons means the natural gas. Natural gas is actually what we call it as compressed natural gas, and we use as a fuel in vehicles and all. So we'll see the various hydrocarbons which are obtained from crude oil in the next class. Okay. So now crude oil has solid, liquid and gaseous hydrocarbons. And it also contains salt water because it is all obtained from the earth's crust. From under the earth we are getting all this, so it may contain salt water, and also some earthly particles will also be present along with this crude oil. So this is basically what is petroleum. Okay, so what is petroleum? Petroleum is a fossil fuel. It is obtained from the dead remains of plants and animals which occurred millions of years ago, and mainly this is obtained from sea organisms, okay, microorganisms which are present in seas and oceans. And it is a dark colored, foul smelling liquid also called crude oil. Petra means rock and oleum means oil. It is actually a Latin word meaning oil which is trapped between rocks. So crude oil is found trapped between two impervious rocks. Crude oil has solid, liquid and gaseous hydrocarbons, and it also contains salt water and some earthly particles because it is obtained from the earth's crust. Now next let us see the formation of petroleum. Okay, so this also we can see, you can look at this picture. This is actually, it helps us to understand how this living organism which is present in the seas and oceans dye the microorganisms and the fishes, small fishes, and the algae like small plants, aquatic plants and all. When they die, they settle at the bottom of the ocean. Okay, and what happens, more and more, just like the formation of coal, more sediments and more rock fall upon this organic matter, decaying organic matter. When they die, they settle at the bottom of the ocean, and sediments and rocks fall on this decaying organic matter, and more as years pass by, after millions of years or hundreds of years, millions of years, more and more rock and soil fall on top of this decaying organic matter, and what will happen, it will get pressed, it will get compressed as more and more mud and earth surface, material fall on top of this, and it get compressed, and deep under the soil we have very high temperature, and pressure starts exerting on this dead organism, and in the absence of air. So these are the conditions. In deep under the soil we don't have air. So in the absence of air and very high pressure and very high temperature, what happens? After millions of years, slowly the hydrogen and oxygen get extracted from this, and it mainly contains, finally it contains carbon, and slowly it changes into oil, crude oil. Okay, so this is how petroleum is formed under the ocean, even on the land, under the land, Earth's crust, we can find this petroleum. Even in the oceans, under the ocean, deep under the ocean, they get settled, and from the ocean also we can get this petroleum. Okay, so I hope you understood about the formation of petroleum. So how is petroleum formed? The small tiny organisms which are present in the oceans and seas, tiny creatures like microorganisms, fishes, small plants like algae, etc. When they die, what happens? They get settled at the bottom of the ocean, and sediments and earth and more mud, etc., rocks, all this fall on top of this decaying organic matter, and it get pressed, and pressure start exerting on this organic matter, and under the earth we have high temperature, and in the absence of air it gets slowly converted into crude oil. Okay, and this will be found deep under the earth's surface, under the soil, about some 600 to 700 meters deep. You find this oil in between the impervious rocks. Okay, in between the impervious rocks we can find this. So I'll show you another picture. This is the actually how it is present, how the oil is present under the earth. Okay, so you can see the oil here, and on top of that always the gas will be there. Above the oil, gas will be present, the natural gas will be present, and this oil and gas are lighter than water, so it will be floating on this water. You can see here water. On top of water we have this oil and gas, and you can see them, you can see that this oil and gas is trapped between the rocks, impervious rocks, non-porous rocks, deep under the earth. So this is how it is present deep under the earth's surface. Okay, so next, formation of petroleum. Petroleum was formed from organisms living in the seas. When these organisms died, their bodies settled down in the seabed and it got covered with layers of sand. Over millions of years, in the absence of air, high temperature and high pressure, they got transformed into petroleum and natural gas. They got trapped between two layers of impervious rocks, forming oil traps. Natural gas always collect above petroleum under high pressure under a dome-shaped impervious rocks. So which I showed you is actually, this is actually a dome-shaped impervious rock. So you can see in between these layers of rocks, you can see always the oil, and above the oil there will be gas. Actually, this oil deposits are not found that much in India. It is usually what we find in India is the natural gas, and we have large deposits of coal, but crude oil is not that much available in India. It is available in other countries like North America, South America, Middle East, like Dubai, Abu Dhabi and all. You can find in some parts of Africa, in all these places you can find large deposits of crude oil, but in India we have very less amount of crude oil. What we have more is natural gas and coal. Okay, now where do you find this crude oil? Now we saw how this crude oil is formed. Now from where, how deep it is. Okay, so this crude oil is found at the depth of 500 to 2000 meters below the earth's crust, and this petroleum deposit is found mixed with salt water. Since it is lighter than water, it floats on it. Natural gas is found above it. So natural gas is also a fossil fuel. It is found always above the petroleum or the crude oil deposit. Large deposits of crude oil is found in North America, South America, Africa, Russia, Middle East like Dubai, Abu Dhabi, etc. India and China has very less amount of crude oil, but it has large deposit of natural gas. I hope it is clear where you find this crude oil. So now we saw what is petroleum, how petroleum is formed. Petroleum is also a fossil fuel. It is an exhaustible natural resource. It takes millions of years for its formation. It is not obtained in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. It takes millions of years for the formation of petroleum. So we have to be very careful. Now we understand where is it present, is it not? It is found deep under the earth's crust. Now if it is deep under the earth's crust, then how will we get it out of this out from the earth's crust? How can we get this oil? That is what we are going to see next. For that we have what is called oil rig. First of all, I will show you the picture of oil rig. So this is an oil rig. So this is the picture of oil rig. This is actually an apparatus or a device which is used to extract oil deep under the ground, which is present deep under the So the crude oil which is found deep under the earth's crust can be obtained with the help of this oil rig. Actually you can see what you see down is a drill. It consists of a driller. So it is very powerful and very sharp, and this driller, what it does, it drills into the earth's crust and it passes through the various layers of impervious rocks and different layers of soil. It goes down and it reaches, when it reaches the oil deposit, reservoir, when it reaches there, it start pumping out the natural gas. Natural gas is present on top. So first the natural gas comes out, and with very high pressure it comes out, and after that when all the natural gas is over, then the crude oil is extracted. Understand? So this type of oil, this is actually called an oil rig. So this is not a simple process as I just tell it off in one sentence. Okay, this is a very complex process. So with the help of oil rig, we can extract the oil from the earth's crust, which is very deep, from the land as well as from the oceans. Deep under around some 2000 meters depth, you find this oil between the impervious rocks. So this driller, which is present in the oil rig, it drills through this different layers of the rocks and soil, and it reaches under deep under the soil, and it creates a hole in the soil, and through this hole the natural gas will be pumped out first, and after that oil is also extracted. So now exactly how is it done? Okay, so prospective site for petroleum is located by using geographic, geological and seismic method. So that is the first step. First we have to find the location where this petroleum deposit is present. We have to find out, we have to figure out using various, there are now various geological, geographical and seismic methods to find out the location where it is present. So we have to find out that first, and then oil rigs drill hole on earth crust. Then the driller, with the help of driller, it drills hole on the earth's crust, and when hole reaches a rock cap, natural gas comes out first with high pressure. When pressure of gas subsides, petroleum starts coming out due to pressure of natural gas. Some oil wells yield only natural gas. So this is not an easy process. Sometimes when you dig and go down, you find that there is no oil there, then you will have to find some other place. So it is a trial and error method. Okay, not that you dig and you immediately get petroleum. It is not like that. So it is a very complex process. So first of all, in getting out this oil, we have to find out the site or the location. We have to figure out the location where this is, where oil deposits are found, and then using oil rig, we drill hole in the earth's crust, and first the natural gas comes with high pressure, and after that petroleum, crude oil comes. So this is how we extract the oil from the earth's crust. I hope it is clear. So now we got the crude oil, and can we directly use as a fuel? No. So this crude oil which we are getting consists of lot of impurities. As such, the crude oil is not very useful. It consists of many hydrocarbons, and this hydrocarbons has to be separated, and by the process called fractional distillation. Only when it is separated, this can be used, like we get many useful products from this crude oil. So that we shall see in the next class. Okay, so I hope today's class is clear. So please go through the videos and learn it.